Hey, what's going on, guys? I am in the airport now. I just got back from the Wealth and Power Conference, which was hosted down in Austin, Texas. And my wife flew with me, and ironically, she is on a different airplane from me. So she gets withdrawal anxiety when she can't hang out with me. So she's on the second flight on her way back. So I thought I would come chime in and say hello to everybody. And I wish you all a wonderful Sunday. Today I was thinking about something that I wanted to kind of mention. First of all, let me know, can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. I want to make sure my audio is good. I don't know what the Wi-Fi is like here at the airport right now. But anyway, so Harvard has a new black president, right? And I don't know if you've seen her. Her name is Claudine Gay. And Claudine is a distinguished scholar, very smart lady. She earned her position, in my view, based on what I know. She was qualified for the position. However, my wife and I had to take a step that's a little bit different from what we would normally take in terms of how we respond to this. You guys know we do a podcast called Pillow Talk. My wife is a full professor of social work and a licensed therapist, and my PhD is in finance. You guys know I was on the faculty at Syracuse University for a lot of years, so I know a lot about universities. One of the big challenges with a lot of universities, for example, is that they love to bring in black people to play basketball and football, and then some universities will bring black people in as students. But a lot of schools don't hire black professors, and even fewer schools actually give them promotions, like give them actual tenure. Tenure is like a lifetime permanent job. I didn't get tenure at Syracuse. I went on and created the Black Business School. We have 156,000 students around the world, so I'm very, very happy. I have no gripes about, what happened with me at Syracuse University. However, the reason that my wife and I are going to talk about Dr. Gay tonight on Pillow Talk, which you can find at drboycetv.com. We're going to do this about midnight tonight once she gets home, is that Dr. Gay has like an interesting little odd blemish on her record that involves something that is a recurring sort of problem that African Americans face. One of the things, let me know if you guys have noticed this. Have you noticed that in many cases when they say we're hiring the first black person to do something, it's usually not an African American or a descendant of slavery? Anybody notice that? For example, the first black woman on the Supreme Court was not an African American woman. The first black woman on the Supreme Court, I believe her family's roots it's a part of Africa, and her husband's white. So typically, when black people get positions like that, like at Harvard, it's usually either somebody married to a white person, somebody who's LGBT, or somebody who is from another country, or all three. Right? Now, I don't know who Roxanne Gay's partner is. I know her last name's Gay, but that doesn't mean anything, right? So we don't know this. I don't know if she's married. Now I got to double check. I don't think she's married. I didn't see a husband or anything, or a spouse, period. And I don't hold that against her. I don't care about that so much. But I do think that we have to start to carefully examine the politics behind these sort of masked forms of integration that really are not integration. Based on what I typically see, the African American male, particularly, and then the female second, tends to still be left out of a lot of opportunities, a lot of institutions. Even when you look at the most famous black men in America, they tend to be like rappers, athletes, or comedians. There's a failure to integrate black people that are scholars and thinkers and engineers and lawyers and doctors and everything else. The other interesting thing about Dr. Gay is she played an instrumental part, at least based on, if you read her Wikipedia page and there's references there, she played an instrumental part in removing the first the first African-American deans that were a husband-wife team. And this, y'all should go look this up. There was a black man and a black woman who were both African-American, from what I understand, who were married, who were deans of Harvard, at Harvard, in one of the houses. I don't know exactly how they run everything at Harvard, but they were the first African-American deans. And they were in their, I know the husband was in his position for 10 years. So the husband got hired. He's a really good lawyer. I don't have his name in front of me, but I know that my wife knows this couple. This is why I got on my radar. They're from Gary, Indiana. You don't get no blacker than growing up in Gary, right? It ain't like he grew up in El Salvador or grew up in Haiti or, or some other country. He's from Gary, so he's as African American as you get. Anyway, so this brother was a great lawyer. He got hired to Harvey Weinstein's defense team, right? Because he agrees, as I hope most intelligent people understand. Give me a second. I'm looking at my flight to see which one. What are we flying? We flew from Austin. That's right. Okay. All right. Okay. Baggage claim 6. Okay. So anyway, sorry, I had to take a second to figure out which baggage claim I got to go to. So this brother got hired to be on Harvey Weinstein's defense team because he's one of the best lawyers in the country. Well, when he got hired to represent Harvey Weinstein, Harvard's problem kicked in. Their problem is that Harvard is ranked last or one of the worst schools in the country when it comes to freedom of speech. They are as ignorant as a bunch of toothless hillbilly Trump supporters when it comes to forcing people to do what they want them to do, even if it disrespects their freedom of speech or whatever the case may be. So what happened then was this brother who got hired for Weinstein's defense team, he said, look, I'm not saying that he's innocent. I'm not saying I support what he did. They started to terrorize this brother. They started to do to him everything they say that the Trump supporters do. That's what the Harvard students were doing to this black man and his wife. They were vandalizing the school. They were protesting everything he did. They were bullshitting on the damn evaluations. And suddenly, surprise, surprise, and a lot of you have gone through this on your job. Suddenly, they had all these problems with the way he'd been running his department, even though he never really had any significant problems in the last decade. This brother was in this position for a decade and did a great job. His wife was doing a great job. Then suddenly, it's like, oh, well, we don't think that he's qualified, and we don't think that... No, the reason he's not qualified is because he did not pursue your agenda. He refused to be your puppet, and you got mad. You did your white supremacist thing where you expect people to do what you tell them to do, and then when they don't do it, you get mad about it. So they fired this brother and his wife. I couldn't believe it. It was shocking. It was so bad that the American Civil Liberties Union, a bunch of liberal white folks who believe in freedom of speech, surprise, surprise, that's not very popular at Harvard, the American Civil Liberties Union condemned his firing. They said, it's really interesting that you basically say that he was fired or he was removed as a dean. I would say fired. He was removed as a dean for performance issues, but it's odd that this just happened to occur right when he's being protested for representing Harvey Weinstein. The reason I bring up Dr. Gay is because Dr. Gay, the president of Harvard, the black woman that they put in that position, right? So because they'll never pick an African American, at least not for a long time, is one of the people that supported. She was openly critical of him and supported his removal. So here's what I'm saying to you. In many cases, black people from other countries are high. I don't have anything against black people in the diaspora. I love my black folks. I go to London. They show up for me every time. I go to parts of Africa. They show up every time. I went to Ghana. Love my black folks in the diaspora. But what has happened in many cases is that black people from other countries are used as weapons of white supremacy. They are used to validate their continuous oppression of descendants of slaves. And I think that it's very important. I think at some point we're going to have to make that distinction. We're going to have to say to them, like, okay, if you say you hired the first black whatever, what is their origin? What are they connected to? What do they care about? Even Barack Obama wasn't really African American like we know African American. He knew how to speak the language. He knew how to walk the walk. He knew how to be a chameleon, but he really wasn't somebody who really understands the heart of what it means to be a black man in America, because his mama was white. He was raised overseas. Same thing with Valerie Jarrett, who worked with him too. So who's raised, I think, in Iran or something. How many black people raised in Iran? Right? Seriously. So my point is to say that my wife and I are going to talk about this tonight. I'm going to reach out to the couple that was removed. I'm gonna reach out to them, and we're gonna try to see if we can either get them on with us, or we will at least hear their side of the story. I think this deserves to be heard, and I think that we have to get out of the habit of just cheering because they pick somebody with a black face. If you are not representing African American people in an appropriate way, or you're doing it in a way that white people find to be acceptable and politically correct, then I don't know if you're capable of being our friend, because white supremacists are on the left and the right. It's not like being a white liberal somehow exonerates you from the same racism that you constantly thrust at the Republicans, because we know what Joe Biden did with that crime bill. We know what we're dealing with. Some intelligent black people understand this. Some people don't. Some people are still learning, but I'm telling you guys, this is something worth talking about. So anyway, my wife and I are going to talk about this tonight. Our show's called Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins, and we do it on my YouTube channels, drboycetv.com. That's the home for intelligent black people. So if you like intelligent conversations and you also believe in freedom of speech, and we have fun too, right? Then join us. Just go to drboycetv.com. All right, guys. So I'm gonna get on out of here. I gotta go. In case you were here to hear financial stuff, you know me, I'm all about the economics all the time, because I believe that the source of our problems are economic. I believe that we don't have enough economic strength, and I think that this should be our mission for this generation. So put the BS aside, invest for your kids, be smart about it. I'd be happy to help you for free. Just text the word stock to 31996. If you text stock to 31996, I'll send you stuff that way. And then also you can go to my website, boycewatkins.com. There's plenty of free stuff there. All right, guys, I'm out of here. God bless you. I'll see you soon. I'll hopefully see you tonight. Talk to you later. Peace.